All right. What's going on, party people? This your man Griff. Just get all this stuff off. Just arrived to my closing, 3 o'clock closing for my direct client. Yeah, I have to say that sometimes because there's some people out there that keep saying Griff don't have direct clients. What kind of notary is he if he doesn't have any direct clients? Griff has direct clients. I'm here with one of them now. Okay. Um. For those of you who've been around with me for a while, especially since from last year, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, you got these little troll notaries out here that like to compare themselves and try to make themselves seem, better than other people and all that kind of stuff. And one of the ways that people try to validate how great they are as a notary is the number of direct clients they have. You know what? I don't do any signing company. I do all of my direct. I'm just a direct person, And the fellas always has an ascot on or something like that when they say it and everything with a little wine glass in their hand and everything. And the ladies have a little Pomeranian or Pomeranian, whatever the heck it is. One of them dogs that starts with the letter P in their arm, petting them and stuff, bragging about how many direct clients they have and all that stuff. So that's what I was joking to Joshing about. But yeah, I just got here, had a couple of house inspections, had 3 to do today, got all of them done, 2 signings, and sinuses are better. I've been using this stuff here, this nasal spray stuff. I don't know if y'all can see that clear or not, all this glare, but yeah, I don't know, but it's some Simple Truth. This been working real good. This saline, been doing about 2, maybe 3 times a day. I don't know if that's overdosing it or not, but I've been using it and it's been working really, really well. So far, I haven't even had to use it but once today, and I brought it with me because it seemed like if you don't have it, that's when your sinuses start acting up. And even now, I can feel, it's like I better make sure I have it with me. So before I go in here, I'm gonna and make sure my sinuses all straight and everything. But I wanted to hop on real quick. I hadn't even planned on doing a video today, but I've been getting questions today about 2 different questions I got today. And when I thought about the questions, which I've had them before, I've gotten these questions before, but when I thought about it a little bit more, I said, you know what? These questions are the 2 most asked questions that I get. Okay, these are the questions that I get asked the most about when I started thinking about it and looking at how many times I've sent videos to answer those questions or respond. I'm like, you know what? I get these questions the most. And the 2 questions that I get the most are, the 2 questions that I get the most are, what happens if you make a mistake? Will a signing company stop using you? They actually want to know what signing companies will stop using you if you make a mistake. If I make a mistake, will that signing company still use me if, after I go and fix it? Things of that nature. And to be honest, there's no way I could know that, because I would have had to work with all the signing companies, and even if I didn't work with them, I would have to know what their internal policies are. And the thing is, they don't share that with us. They don't tell us, say, hey, when you come work for us, just know that if you make a mistake and then you go fix it, we're going to throw you in the trash. There's no way I could know that. And I know a lot of you are like, well, I don't want to get out there. This is what some people have told me, not the folk who I talked to today, but in the past, people have literally told me, well, I don't want to get out there and work for a company that might blacklist me if I make a mistake. So I want to avoid them altogether. And I'm like, I don't know what to say, because we don't know who will and who won't. They just might be in a mood that day and say, y'all blacklisted. Might not be in a mood that day and say, we give everybody a 15th chance. I don't know. And there's no way a notary can know. So, in a part B to that question about, what'll happen if you make a mistake is, well, which company should I avoid? I'm like, okay, how are you coming into business and like, okay, I'm going to avoid certain people who can pay me money? Here's the thing. you might be the catalyst. Well, I won't say necessarily the catalyst. You just might be the person that company like, we like working with you. We don't like working with the rest of them, but we like working with you for whatever reason. But you're trying to avoid them based on other people having issues. Now, are there some companies, like that you could be like, okay, yeah. And one of them is Notary Go, but I see more notaries running to Notary Go than a little bit. I don't mess with Notary Go. I mean, I don't have any need to. They're a good starter company, and Notary Go knows that, and a lot of people know that. So they get there and move on. But what happens is a lot of y'all get comfortable with Notary Go and y'all just stay there, you know, and then y'all are a little concerned about getting with other companies because you may not feel confident that they're going to be as gracious to you as Notary Go. You can sit there and miss all your notarizations. Notary Go be like, go get them fixed. You get them fixed, send them back, and then Notary Go like, hey, I got another order for you. So if that's the lifestyle you want to live, go with it. But there's no way anybody could definitively say, okay, you have to stay away. Because even there's some companies that I don't mess with, but I know other people that work with those companies, and they do good with them, and they have a great time with them. So the only thing I can say is just go out there and give it a shot and learn and develop your own connections and relationships, because that's what this is about. The other question that pops up, or a statement, or however you want to look at it, it's about equipment. A lot of people been hitting me up like they don't have the money for the equipment at all, for a variety of reasons. Either because it's too expensive, or yeah, they got the money, they found it, but they will have to rob Peter to pay Paul in order to get it. They're just flat out not sure if, they're like, well, would I get work? And I don't want to buy the stuff if I'm not guaranteed to get work. It's a lot of reasons. And I'm like, you can't do the business without it. And I didn't realize, and this has been going on since about March of this year, 2023, that I would say maybe every month I've gotten a phone call or two from people asking me about equipment, and I never really paid too much attention to it because I was like, well, you just get the equipment, And I was thinking that people understood that they needed to have the equipment in order to do the business, and a lot of people honestly was like, oh, I just thought you could just do it and you didn't need the equipment. I'm like, no, you need the equipment. You need to be able to print and to scan and all of that. And people are like, I heard you say that, but it just didn't click in that I needed to buy the equipment. I'm like, well, if you see the printers behind me, what did you think? Wow, I just didn't click in. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, you need it. Well, I can't afford that. I can't buy that. That ain't in my budget. And I'm like, so why did you do? Well, I was told you could make $10,000 a month. And I was like, well, yeah, you can, but that's primarily they're talking about with loan closings, or if you're in a high metro area, yeah, you could do general notary work. Oh, see, I didn't get all of that. And this is where the problem lies at, is that a lot of people are hopping in again to business, and they're not looking at the full scope of it. They're not doing the necessary research. They're not vetting this whole process or this whole industry. And they're just like, oh, after they done spent the money, now they're like, oh. So I don't know what to say. I did the necessary research, and once I found out what it was I needed, obviously, like I said the story before, I went and pulled money off of my life insurance policy and bought the equipment that I needed. And then I went out and made the money so I could buy more equipment, and made some more money to buy more equipment. That's how I did it. That's how I learned to do business. Okay, if you got some startup cash, get the startup cash, get going, and then after that, the money you make, pay yourself back for what you, for your startup costs or wherever you got it from, and then go buy you some more equipment. That's business. But you can't get there if you're not taking orders, and you can't even get there to take orders if you don't even have the startup capital. So, and I know this is where some of you are. And yes, the equipment is expensive, which equipment to use. I won't tell you that you have to use any particular brand, but I will say that you need a laser, and it needs to be dual tray. Having a dual tray laser is going to be better than a single tray laser, and using that daggone page separator for its time wise, and being just, conscious of how much, time you're spending and being efficient. Double tray printer is all that. Renting a printer, you got to just sit down and weigh the cost of it over a year, and whether you want to be in a 12 or 18 month contract or 2-year contract, and you're not really out there doing the work, So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I don't, there's no magic pill to this. All I knew is I was going to need equipment. And I don't know what the trainers are telling people now, but back then when I came on, that's what I used to hear people say all the time, that you needed equipment, and they said the equipment that you needed. So unless those videos are no longer out there or people not talking about it, it appears that folk aren't aware that they need to have equipment, even to the point of the notary stamp in the journal. If your state says you need to have that, you need to have that. And you can go on Amazon or Office Max or wherever that can get it, as long as it creates a notary stamp that meets your state's requirements. Notary Journal, you can get that from anywhere. There's no specific brand. Nobody looks to see, okay, did you get the Gold Touch brand? It's just, do you have a journal? Yes. Do you have a stamp? Yes. Does it meet your state requirements? It's either yes or no. It's not that much to try to analyze and try to figure out with that. So, and I'm just sharing with you, for me, I just know I needed a journal. I got the least expensive journal that I could find, and got me the least expensive stamp that I could get. And I was like, okay, I'm good. And I was off to the races. I'm like, bet, we good. That's what, I did the video about what's in my bag. Take a look at that. For his equipment. And you think about it, what equipment that you need. Just think about it. Just think about, to do this job, somebody got to sign something. So that means somebody need a pen. And at least you and at minimum one other person need a pen. Makes sort of sense to have something to write on. Clipboard. You see what I'm saying? So these are things that I know that y'all have the ability to sit there and analyze and figure out. Why? Because that's what I did. I sat there and I was like, okay, well, I need this and I need that. Okay, well, I think this will make it better for me, or this will make, okay, I like to have this. I like paper clips. I like this or that. For whatever reason, it's like, okay, bam. So now the question is, can I afford to go out and get it? If I can't, then I need to figure something out. You see what I'm saying? And get to a point to where I can. That's what some of y'all gonna be taking stuff from your jobs and things of that nature. But nonetheless, this is where we're at. So you're gonna have to find a way to get your equipment. One way I did with the printer was I bought the single tray by itself, and then I bought the second tray separately, because at one point in time, buying them separate was cheaper than buying it together. So you have to go out there and do some price comparison and things of that nature. Now, if you're not willing to do all of that, then you're just going to have to spend whatever money you can. Getting it off the marketplace can be iffy, because you get it, yeah, it works, but then parts inside are at the end of its life expectancy, and it'll cost more to replace those parts than buy a new one. So that's why I really don't buy the used ones, because you go buy a used printer and the fuser or the laser is at 50% or less, and then you start using it, and then it's like, okay, laser dead, you can't print no more. Well, you may only pay $75 for it, but now you gotta get your new printer, and it's only been 3 months. You see what I'm saying? So that's the other side of it. So that's why I'm gonna just buy brand new, so I get the full life expectancy out of this thing. But I'm gonna go in here and get set up for my closing at 3, and y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. Peace.